Hey folks, today's episode is sponsored by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at audiblepodcast.com/WTFpod. Perhaps my book, Attempting Normal, or my book, Jerusalem Syndrome, or whatever you want. It's free. Go do that. We're also sponsored today by LegalZoom, and I want you to pay attention to this if you don't have a will or living trust. You know, you should really get one. It's really the only way to fully protect your property and your children. If you think it's too expensive and too time-consuming to get a will, then LegalZoom.com will take care of your concerns. LegalZoom has the most affordable living wills and last wills. And if you're worried about not having the time to get one, the LegalZoom online process takes about 20 minutes, people. Visit LegalZoom.com today and get 15% off your last will. Go to LegalZoom.com right now and be sure to enter Maron in the referral box at checkout. LegalZoom can provide self-help services at your specific discretion or connect you with an attorney, but they're not a law firm. That's LegalZoom.com. Let's do the show.
Lock the gate!
All right, let's do this. How are you, what the fuckers? What the fuck buddies? What the fuck nicks? How's everybody doing? This is Marc Maron. This is WTF. I'm happy to be here. Welcome to the show. I host the show. Today on the show is Bill Hader, the lovely and gentle and kind and talented Bill Hader. Is that a lot of weird, overly sweet descriptions of the guy? He's a good guy, this guy. This guy Hader is a good guy, talented fella. Enjoyed talking to him. That'll happen in just a few minutes. I am back from Chicago. Thank you, everybody, Chicagoans, for helping me sell out 6 shows at the Main Stage Theater. I ain't bragging, but I'm bragging. They were great shows, and I don't know what it is about that town or about that space, but I love that space. And from what I heard from the people, who run the place, it's a little off the beaten path, but maybe I don't understand Chicago, but I don't know why you wouldn't go see whatever is playing there. If they've got comics, man, I'll tell you, the Main Stage is a great place to see comedy because it's a great place to fucking do comedy. I don't know what it is about that place. I was there at exactly the same time last year, and I had exactly as an amazing time performing there. There's something special about it. See, but now I'm starting to think like maybe I have slight mania. Maybe my mania, or if I do have a slight bipolar issue, it works on a yearly cycle, and it just happens to fall on the same weekend as Lollapalooza. How come I can't say that word? But even given the fact that Lollapalooza was happening, I was able to pull in, 6 shows worth of WTF people and Maron people and however people come to like me. I imagine they're not just going there randomly unless they're being dragged there by friends. But it's a great space, man. It's a great space. Can I just say this, that this episode is sponsored by Squarespace, and if you're looking to build your own website, Squarespace is the all-in-one platform that makes it fast and easy. Hundreds of WTF listeners have already used Squarespace for their businesses or just their own personal expression for whatever reason you need a website. Squarespace has beautiful designs to get started with and all the style options you need to create a unique website. They have great customer support whenever you need it, but it's an easy drag and drop system, so you won't have any problem making your site look the way you want it. Any website you build with Squarespace automatically formats to mobile devices, so your site looks great on every device, every time. For a free trial and 10% off, go to squarespace.com and use the offer code BOOMER. BOOMER. There's no credit card required to start this trial, so go build a website today for free. That's squarespace.com, offer code BOOMER. Squarespace, everything you need to create an exceptional website. I learned something, man. I learned something about the difference between improvising, being an improviser, which is what Chicago is. Chicago is an improv town, and they're highly aware of that. There's definitely a stronghold. There's an improv clique or several of them. I did not, I didn't go to a show at Improv Olympic or Second City or anywhere, but I know they're there, and it's their place. There's no doubt about it that what defines what Chicago is known for comedically are improvisers. There's a hierarchy. There's all different levels of talent and bitterness around it, and it's a real thing. But one thing I do know about what happened in Chicago is I did some old school snapping. Hadn't done it in a while, almost felt ashamed. The interesting thing about my audience, or the people that come to see me, is they will sort of indulge me. They know me pretty well, and I think that as much as I want something new and exciting to happen, they do as well, and they're willing to sort of let me do that. And sometimes it yields great stuff, but there was a couple of shows, I'd say 2 or 3 out of the 6, where I just unloaded on some drunk fuck who was probably a fan. The first night, some guy was sitting right up front, and he just kept drinking. And that's fine. I mean, if someone's got a problem or if they like to drink or whatever, but once you enter blackout zone, once you're no longer capable of taking responsibility for what's coming out of your dumb face, it becomes a problem. And when you're sitting right up front as a comic, you've got a whole audience behind that guy that really can't hear or see what he's doing, but it's right in my fucking face. And this guy just out of nowhere during the shows or during the jokes just started going, na 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 na, na 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 na, na 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 na. Was that irritating to you just now? Was that irritating? Well, it was coming at me out of context in the middle of jokes for about 10 or 15 minutes until I fucking eviscerated. I just destroyed this guy. I just unloaded a lifetime's worth of anger into his dumb drunk head. And after I was done, I felt sort of ashamed. I had to take a deep breath. I felt like I had just, it was some part of me that I tend to reserve for people I love, or it was some part of me that I'd left back with the old style, with what I used to do on stage. It felt good, and the audience seemed to like it, but it's very hard to being where I'm at now, to have that kind of anger come out of me publicly and then have to look at an audience and go, hey, what's up, you guys? And then it happened another time with some drunk, women up front. Again, fans that just sort of all of a sudden they're beyond the point of no return with alcohol. And I just unloaded. And there was a couple times where I engaged audience members. I should I recorded all this stuff. I should pull this shit up just so I can, if you're interested, you can hear what that sounds like. But the odd thing about it was I was on stage and I felt shitty. I felt like I had won something, and it felt good to dump that kind of anger, but I felt bad about it because I don't really want to be that guy anymore. But sometimes it's necessary. I guess that's my point. As a stand-up, doing your own thing, sharing your point of view of things and being funny, and then someone just is fucking with you and fucking up your show, they get to take a hit. I don't really like when clubs escort people out. It's sort of emasculating, but it's the right thing to do. Sometimes before it even gets ugly, someone from the club will walk up and just, take the guy out, and then they're walking the guy out in front of an audience, and you feel like, well, I should have been able to deal with that, but it's a slippery slope. You can engage in that stuff and it could go nowhere and get really ugly, get physical. Who the fuck knows? That wasn't the case, but the case was I had the freedom to do that. It was entertaining. It was compelling. It may not have been entertaining. It may not have been funny, but it was disturbing and it was real and it was happening in that moment and it was justified to a certain degree. I went to do the Paper Machete show, the radio show, which I wasn't going to do again because I don't know how long you've been listening. The last time I was there, I was accosted and sort of mentally raped by some lunatic lady before I went on stage. But I went back because Al Madrigal was in town. And we were hanging out, and he was doing it, and so, he said he did it because I did it, and I did it because he did it, whatever. It wasn't bad. It was at the Green Mill Tavern, which is this historic place, and I'm not sure, but I think that was actually the place that Shelley Berman saw Mort Saul for the first time. I have to go back and listen to that. Whatever the case, I went back to do this show, and I've got a point here. I started to see how the improv thing works is that, they get these tools where they learn how to commit to certain elements of a character that are funny, and then they just repeat those throughout the character. And the depth of those repetitions, of those character traits, if they're funny enough, you just escalate and build, and it's hilarious. I mean, there's something to it. But Katie Rich, who is a great improviser and sort of a big deal in that town. I worked with her on that show the last time, and she did a very funny essay, and this time she did a fairly heartfelt essay about improvising and about seeing fish when she was a kid or at a different point in her life. But the story was fine. But what struck me was she told a story about improvising at Second City, I believe, and at some point some drunk fucking idiots were fucking up the show for everybody. and she went out of character. She left these improv zone of the real or the truth of whatever moment, and she went and told these fuckers that they were ruining the fucking show for everyone. She just went up to their table and said, "You guys are fucking this up. You're fucking it up for everybody because you drunk idiots." Now I'm paraphrasing. That wasn't, exactly what she said. The point is she got in trouble by her producer. So you can't do that. You can't do that. Oh, so improv is only, limited to, real moments and the truth of a moment, on stage, that's the context, that, someone who's destroying the show, there's no reprisal for that guy because you're just a ride at a fucking theme park, the improv theme park. I was glad she did it, and I was glad she talked about it, because that right there is the fundamental difference between stand-up and improv, is that, a stand-up's truth in a moment could be destroying somebody in an audience, or at least commenting on it, or at least, giving that guy a verbal beating for being a fucking idiot. Whereas you just got to suck it up and take it if you're in the middle of an improv show. So I'm proud of Katie Rich for doing that. Not that it fucking matters, but it was just something striking about the nature of those type of performances, and why, with improv, you get groups of people that, learn how to define characters, write sketch, move through moments, and it's very specific and great talent. But you just gotta, let the audience have their experience, even if that experience is destroying it for the rest of the audience. Fuck that, I say. Fuck that. Hey, people, that, Audible is our sponsor sometimes. You can go to audiblepodcast.com/WTF pod for a free download. There's over 100,000 audio products there. The offer is only good in the U.S. and Canada. Feel free to get my books or get any books you want. There's a lot of stuff. Hold on. I usually go there. Let's go there now. I'm at audible.com right now. I did a search on the keyword improvisation. I come up with a great improvisation, Franklin, France, and the Birth of America. Who knew it would go there? Improvisation Inc., harnessing spontaneity to engage people and groups. There you go. And here's a Studio 360 show on improvisation. Go to audiblepodcast.com/WTF pod. You can download whatever you want on me. On me. All right? One more thing about this. Here's the sad thing about misunderstanding an audience. And this happened to me too. Like I was, I was full of the beans, man. I was full of, whatever you want to say, piss and vinegar. I was agitated, but not irritated. I find that I am driven by a certain point. After a certain point, I have to be driven by complete frustration with myself to push myself into new material. So I got a little bit of an edge like that, when I'm performing like that. And these shows were in Chicago were very emotionally, varied. And then I had a wooer. I had some guy wooing, woo, in the middle of jokes. And it was Saturday night, and I'd done about 20 minutes of great laughy, I was getting good laughs, and I hit some sort of plateau because I felt myself detaching from the audience and going into bits that I didn't want to do. And he started wooing, and I sort of said, "What the fuck is with the woo?" And we had this exchange, and I kind of attacked him a bit, and then I hear this woman who's clearly sitting next to him go, "He's your biggest fan." And I'm like, ugh, what's wrong with me? But I mean, still, there is decorum, right? There is some as an audience member. They're very exciting shows. And thank you, Katie Rich, for speaking your mind to drunken, buzzkill, shitty audience members. All right, look, here we go. Bill Hader is in the garage. Great guy. For reals. Let's talk to Bill Hader. So when you do movies, I think I might have an opportunity to do a movie here.
Oh, yeah?
They are shooting in Acton, California, which is approximately 50 miles from Highland Park. Call time is 6:30 a.m., and they are saying they feel confident they will have you wrapped by 7 p.m.
A full day work.
Yeah.
What's the movie?
It's called... I don't know what it's called. Why, you're probably in it.
No. Yeah. What is it? What are we doing tomorrow?
Yeah. Bill Hader's like, oh yeah, I'm in that movie.
I'm in that movie.
You're like in every movie,
No.
almost. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but like, if you really look at your career, if you look at your page, you're like, oh yeah. Oh shit, that's right. He was he was that guy who did that thing.
Yeah, and Brother Solomon, he was the guy on the bike.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, that guy. I'm trying to remember the name of the movie. It's something with Oliver. It's based on some series of YouTube videos about some kid who was shooting a documentary of his dad who used to be a musician of some kind.
Oh, no, I don't know about this. No.
Nothing rings. No Jackson. It rings no bell, and I read Jackson. So I read,
No Jackson?
It rings no Jackson? It's not sparking any Jacksons in you?
No Jacksons?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Okay, let me just tell her, okay, fine, fuck it. Let's make a movie. But Bill Hader, I mean, I'm surprised that, you notice how I dropped your name in there?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, like that's some radio shit there. Tell me, Bill Hader.
On the line with Bill Hader.
Yeah.
And,
well, that's how they reset things. That's you don't have to really do that in podcasting.
So I like it that you do it anyway,
yeah,
though.
So Bill Hader, I know, we'd already...
So the guys could look back down at their iPhone.
Right.
Like thing, go, who am I listening to again?
He just reminded me. He's a professional.
Okay.
So I'm glad you had some time not doing a movie.
Yeah. It's been nice.
That's one of those pandery kind of like provocative ways to set up. Like, so you're not doing a film this hour. That's interesting. You've done an awful lot, though, haven't you?
How do I tee myself up here?
How long have you been in L.A. now?
About 3 weeks.
Have you ever had this happen? Now, look, it's not a humble brag. I'm not tooting my own horn here. This is the way show business works. Mm-hmm. We'll get back to you in a second.
No, I'm in.
You know, I get this opportunity to do this part today, but it's today and it's shooting Wednesday. You know, it's 4 pages. It's a pretty chunky scene.
Yeah.
But then, like, I get on the phone with my agent. They're like, yeah, well, it just turned, it was originally conceived of for Bill Paxton.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, okay, I can see that. And they went out to Ed O'Neill, but they couldn't get him out of Modern Family.
Uh-huh.
So you're
Why
it.
did they tell you all that? I never hear that.
Well, that's
why
because...
Why would they tell you all that?
I don't know why they told me it, but it didn't bother me as you think it was. I'm like, I'm number 3?
Yeah,
it's
you're...
Bill Paxton, Ed O'Neill, and then me?
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
You're plan C.
Well, it was an offer. I didn't have to read for it.
No, that's great.
They're like, come on in.
Yeah, man.
He's sort of like O'Neill Paxton.
You were up for Dutch, weren't you?
I was. Let me ask you some questions to get me through this. So, all right, so let's say you get a part, and you've done parts like this, where you're like literally in the movie for a few scenes.
Yeah, second. Yeah.
Like Tropic Thunder, you had several scenes, but you make comedic decisions. What do? You're given a script. So let's say you got this part, or you're the guy, here are your 4 pages. What's your process? Go.
I read through it.
Oh, so I got to read it.
You got to read it.
Do you read the whole script generally?
I sometimes do, and then sometimes I don't. Sometimes it depends on what it is, to be honest. But no, I usually will read the whole thing, and then animated movies I don't read. I won't read the whole thing, so I'll go see the movie and be like, "Oh, that's what my guy does. I'm a troll.
I can fly."
Yeah.
Oh, look at me.
That whole thing was up in the air. I didn't realize that. That's great.
I should have read that.
I'm a bird. That makes sense. But yeah, you go over the lines. But the thing I learned was I don't fully. You kind of like know the lines, but you don't get like really like on book. And then you get there and you get really, you just keep it loose depending on what
with the other actor. You start working with the other actor.
And you start messing around like, oh, what are you doing? You kind of see, like you mentioned Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
I mean, I show up and it's Tom Cruise dressed like that acting crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to go the other way because I can't be crazy. No one's going to be watching me in any of these scenes.
But they were.
But you can, you try to like, if I go the other way and he goes that way, then
but you were sort of
balanced.
This kind of weird, kind of like guy. You're the what do you call that? It's not an evil assistant, but it's sort of the dirty work guy.
Yeah, I'm the attaché.
Yeah. But you're a weasel.
Yeah. I'm doing an impersonation of an actual guy named John Goldwyn. John Goldwyn's not
a guy.
Now, John Goldwyn's not a weasel or anything, but I had to make a choice.
Yeah. So you were kind of doing an impression?
I was doing an impression, and then
Who was that guy?
John Goldwyn runs Lorne Michaels' film thing. He's a Goldwyn. He's Samuel Goldwyn's grandson. He used to run Paramount.
Uh-huh.
And he's a very nice guy.
Yeah.
But, the look and the kind of way he talks. Hello.
Yeah.
He produced a movie I was in. called Hot Rod, and he would come up to me on set and say, "Have you ever seen the film Zardoz?"
Yeah, with Sean Connery?
Yeah.
Yeah, like...
And I go, "Oh, I miss Zardoz." He's like, "You have got to see Zardoz."
Like, everybody missed Zardoz.
Yeah. And I was like, "Well, I got to see Zardoz now." So, you talk about the sandwiches. Do you know why these sandwiches are so fresh? Because, why are they so fresh? And the guy who made him goes, I made him this morning. He goes, because he made them this morning. And then you just have these great conversations with John Goldwyn. So I came in to read for the movie, and I asked Ben Stiller, do you know John Goldwyn? And he started laughing. He goes, yeah, I know John Goldwyn. And I just started doing it, and he said, yeah, you got it. Like, that was the only time this ever happened in my life. I didn't have to read or anything. He was like, you got it. I just started doing the impression, and he was like, you
went in for audition.
Yeah, and I had everything memorized, and I was really rigid.
Right.
And I got so nervous to get myself out of my head. I was like, what if I did this guy? And I just started doing exactly what I just did for you, and Ben said,
but you had done a lot of movies before that.
I still get so nervous before.
But you still don't commit to the script completely.
Not so much not committing. I will, yeah, depending, but I don't get... I'm just saying personally, when I read something and I get really, really... I really ingrained in it, and I need to know every pause, everything.
Right.
I stink. I have to kind of know it and then see what the other person's doing and mess around a little bit.
So you're not one of those guys who's like, I've got choices for each one of these lines.
No, it's very intuitive, I guess. But then I hear certain directors, especially stage people, it's like, that comma's there for a reason.
Really?
You go up on this line, you go down on this line. And I've had that in voiceover sessions, and so I've gotten better at it. I think the first movies I remember, those Apatow movies, and it was so loosey-goosey that...
The first movies you did?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, you mean big parts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knocked Up was...
The first big part?
Yeah.
And he's real loose.
Crazy loose.
Yeah?
You were
the
editor to Katherine Heigl's character. I was her editor at E.
Right, and you were in those scenes like, you're pregnant.
Yeah, you're pregnant. Yeah, that's a good impression of me. You just did everyone's impression of me, which is like, hey, how are you? Fred Armiste's impersonation of me is like, hey, I just started listening to the Allman Brothers.
Are you that guy?
Yeah, I'm always...
All right, so walk me through... I'm not digging for anything.
Mm-hmm.
I want you set the scene. I want the dialogue. I want you to act this out. You telling Lorne that you're leaving. I want voices.
Okay. Let's see. Justin Bieber had just pitched. We just did our pitch meeting with Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
No, so we did a pitch meeting with Justin Bieber. Next day, Tuesday.
Yeah.
I walk in, and Lorne immediately started talking about, I think Up All Night had just gotten canceled or something. So he was talking about that.
Yeah.
And it was all this small talk, and my stomach was in knots. And he knew exactly why I was coming in.
How did he know?
My agent had told him that I was moving to California.
Oh.
And so I was...
But not quitting the show.
Yeah. And so we're going to go in and talk about me moving to California. And we walked in, and he started telling me this, and he went, so you're moving to California? And I said, yes. And he went... Like, he just kind of like... that's what he did. He went... And I was like, yeah, it's just been great working here, but I think it's just, and he was like, no, I get it, and you have kids, and and you have to, he goes, but they have backyards in Westchester too,
He said that?
Yeah.
So he wanted you to stay.
Yeah, but he totally got it. He's like, you got 2 kids, I get it. I said, all right, and then he said, well, let's wear this for a while. Let's not, it's February. We have until the end of the season. And I said, okay.
Does that mean don't say anything
Don't say anything. Don't go public with it. And I wasn't going to go public with it anyway, but I knew in February. And then it was good. Then, he would do little things like something would go really well, and he would walk over and he would go, you're going to miss this, It was, the essential thing was I get it, but I wish you would stay. but I get why, you've been here 8 years,
Yeah.
You gave, my contract was for 7. I went an extra season. He fully got it. You know? But, and then when I said I want to announce it in New York Times the week of my last show, he went, oh, okay, well, let's figure out how to do that, and I'll be a part of the thing. Like, he was cool. He was really, but it is a thing where you have to kind of, you just have to be really straightforward with him. And it's nerve-wracking because you're kind of going in with the guy that said him, and your whole life changed.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean?
He's king.
Yeah.
He's magic.
Yeah, he's mad. He went, you, and their whole life changed. So it was this feeling of wanting to, it was like breaking up with your dad or something.
Breaking up with your dad?
Yeah, it was like,
I just did
sorry.
that.
Yeah. No.
It's all right. It's all right. We'll probably get back together.
Oh, I hope so.
We kind of stuck with him.
Yeah. But that's the thing. He's always going to be there and stuff. So it's never like, oh, I'm not going to like not talk to you ever again. But people had told me that you get really emotional. Other people that left the show say, oh, when I told Lorne I was leaving, I started crying and stuff like that. That didn't happen, but it was like the room started spinning. It was like I said, I'm leaving the show. Right. And then it was like... Like I just
couldn't believe it.
I thought it was either a weight had been put on my shoulders or lifted, and I thought I might pass out in front of him. How horrible would that be if I pass out right now?
It'd be great.
And then he'd be like, he doesn't want to leave. He said he wanted to leave, and then he fell flat on his face. He's staying.
But he was nice about it, and
he wasn't like,
you asshole.
No, but he wasn't like thrilled either.
Right.
It was just kind of like, all right,
I wonder if have there ever been people that have left and there's been reprisals?
I don't know, probably.
Yeah.
That's the thing about me at the show is that I was always kind of, oblivious, or I always wanted to be in on the gossip, but I was always kind of oblivious to everything.
Yeah. What's so busy?
It was like, and you go, wait, they're leaving? You know what I mean?
Yeah, what happened?
Wait, so-and-so doesn't like so-and-so? Wait, what's happening?
How did this, what have I been doing?
Yeah, I'm over here on trying to perfect some voice or something.
So what's the plan, dude?
I'm living in L.A.,
But when you left for LA and your agent said, did you come here with things? Do you have things?
Yeah, I'm writing at South Park this season.
You're writing at South Park?
Yeah. And, which I've done the past 4 years. I do their retreats and stuff.
Oh, really?
South Park, yeah. And then they put me, so this season, I've written some episodes with them. When I say written, it's those guys. You kind of go in, it's like me, Matt and Trey, and Vernon Chapman, and we just sit there, and they... we're just basically Trey and Matt are bouncing their idea off of us, and then we help out. And you go in from like 10 a.m. to 1.
But isn't there like some sort of compound where there's a crew of writers, or is this the initial process?
It's really? That's it. It's Trey and Matt do everything. So you'll sit there and you'll have that conversation, and we'll go, okay, so, I have an idea, Kanye West is a gay fish or something, and you do this whole thing.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about 3 scenes, and then we'll leave, and the next day we'll come back. Those scenes we talked about are fully animated. The voices are in. It's all done, and then Trey will go, so what do you think? Is this kind of what we want? You know what I mean? And we go, yeah, that's funny, or you know what I mean? And so, so I'm doing that, and then...
You've been doing that for 4 years, though.
Yeah.
So how long does it take? I've never talked to anybody that's, not in a long time anyways, that has written for South Park, and it always strikes me as odd when somebody who is primarily a performer, and then all of a sudden, like when you hear someone say, oh, I'm going to go write on this, like, that's weird.
Yeah, most people think that's weird.
And why you?
Well, because I've been friends with those guys for a while, and...
How'd you meet them?
I met Matt Stone through a friend, and then we just started hanging out, and then he said, do you want to come to one of these retreats? We have a retreat in Seattle. Why don't you come and just bullshit with us? And I said, sure.
And this happens before each season?
We do a retreat. We just did the one for this season. We just went to we went to Laguna Beach, to like some nice hotel, and you just hang out. And
in a suite?
Yeah, and you sit and throw around.
And it was just you and Vernon and Matt and Trey?
Yeah.
That's the retreat, the 4 of you?
The 4 of us. And it's awesome.
How do you know Vernon?
Through those guys.
Yeah, because I remember when he was a stand-up in San Francisco. He works for Louis sometimes. Yeah, he's some sort of wizard.
He is a wizard. He's one of the funniest human beings on the planet. He's so smart. He and I write together. We wrote a movie together. And
what happened to that movie?
I don't know. We'll see if it ever happens. You write these things, they're like, we wrote a movie.
Yeah. And then people go, when's it being made?
You don't understand the process. You don't know how the world works.
I attached myself to it and it wasn't enough.
Yes, I attached myself and they went, who?
Yeah.
No, but but the reason I do it, to be honest, is I like writing, but at SNL we wrote sketches.
Right.
And at South Park you break story. And that's something I'm like really interested in. So it's really a thing of just staying sharp. When I moved to LA and you go and you take meetings and you do those things, but also I just learn a ton.
Well, breaking story, I just learned how to do that. It's a trip because you think the weird thing about breaking story, like especially on my show where I thought I had stories, is you really just have events.
Yeah,
it's like like the guy goes to the store and then the guy shoots him.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well that happens, but what's the story? What's the second act? Well, that would be the end of the third act.
And you're like, wait, that's not a thing. That's not a story. That's a situation.
Exactly. Exactly. It was really weird to learn that because in your head's sort of like, that's the whole thing. That's the whole show. It's like, that's a very short show.
That's very short. That's what I learned from Trey and Matt was, we would say, well, this can happen, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens. And they went, well, there's a problem. That's not right. And we go, oh, what do I do? And he said, it has to be, this happens, so therefore this happens. But then this happens, so now therefore this happens. It's a different logic. You know what I mean?
Right.
There just has to, there has to be some continuation there. And once I figured that out, I was like, oh, that's cool. And I'm still figuring it out. But every time I meet with those guys, I always get in the car on the way home and go, okay, I think I'm understanding this a little bit better now. What
do you write? A whole season then? The four of you? How many's in a season?
I don't know. I think it's like 13 episodes or 15 episodes.
So you and Vernon and Matt and Trey just sat there and crunched the season.
Yeah, we just hit. But this year, past years, they've had other writers like Eric Rivanoia and...
it's still a very funny show. And it always kind of... it's actually, some of the most... powerful satire around consistently, and it just keeps churning out.
Yeah, those guys, and it really is, it's the thing that I loved about Monty Python growing up and some of this other comedy was that it really is just the two-headed beast. It's just those two guys.
Right.
Monty Python was five guys being like, this is what we find funny. And it really is, that's it. There's no other thing there. You're just kind of following their muse of what they're into at that moment. And Vernon and I guess are good at going along with them, but it really is those two dudes. They just, and it seems like they've just have learned each step of the way since doing dumb little thing like shorts in college.
Right.
But there isn't any real difference, from their approach to things.
Yeah.
We'll sit there and talk, and in the middle of it, Trey will just go, well, I'm going to go write this, which means go home. It's very informal. You just kind of hang out, bullshit, and then he goes, well, I'm going to go write all that, and then leaves,
And that's all they do.
Yeah.
Well, and they did the musical, which is amazing. Which I didn't see. But
phenomenal.
Yeah?
It is. It's one of those things that because we were working with those guys, my wife and I, and Vernon and his wife, we got to go to all these rehearsals and workshops for the Book of Mormon before we saw it. So we were going 3 years before it opened.
To give notes?
Not really to give notes. I mean, they would ask us informally, like, oh, what'd you think? Did you like that? But it was very different. Like, a lot of it took place in Salt Lake City, and then it kind of changed, and you're seeing how it morphed. And I felt, in the end, it was like being in the editing room or hanging out watching guys write Blazing Saddles or Life of Brian or some... You just knew, like, oh, this is going to be a big deal.
It's interesting to me that, because I certainly would have no way of knowing that about you, but like, it's really a small circle. I mean, it's just those guys, and then all of a sudden it's like, and Bill Hader. Like, I thought that they had I knew that people moved in and out of writing for that but I didn't realize that the process is really, you hang out for a week or a weekend, and that's it. Then you've written for South Park.
Yeah, it's 6-day weeks, and you have Wednesday off, and it's for like 3 months.
Oh, is that okay? Yeah. So it's not just the retreat.
It's like a long, you do the retreat, and then you kind of get some ideas, but then they leave room for like whatever's going to happen during the run, and that's why you'll see some news story, and then that Wednesday South Park did it, and you're like, how the hell did they turn that around so fast?
Because they know something's going to happen.
Or they figure it out. They go, oh my God, we got to do something about that. That's so funny, and then we do it.
So this, like, I know we talked a little bit about it before, but are you surprised entirely that your career just sort of went where it went?
Yeah, totally.
Because, you grew up where? In Oklahoma?
Tulsa, Oklahoma, yeah.
I don't even know what that looks like.
Yeah, a lot of people, it's just flat.
Who else is from there? Anybody?
Sam Kinison. Sam Kinison,
right.
went there, Gary Busey. Gary Busey actually was on a show called Mazeppa Papazoidi, which was a like a public access show in the 70s where they would show like horror movies and sci-fi movies, and it was just him, this guy Gaylord Sartain, who was in all the Ernest movies, and this guy named Jim Milway Sr. Yeah. And they just were three dudes, like in a crappy, TV studio in Tulsa.
And that's how
just
started?
improvising. Yeah, just improvising and doing these dumb sketches. And you could see some on YouTube. They're really funny.
Really?
Still, I don't know. They're regionally really funny. If you're from Tulsa, you're kind of like, okay, that's really funny. I know those kind of people. But he was really funny in those.
Busey was.
Yeah, in the early mid 70s, but my dad had tapes of him.
Uh-huh.
And so he's like, oh, you gotta watch Mazeppa Papazoidi, and me and my friends would go downstairs and watch him. And then I went to high school with Jim Milway Jr. So he was like, it was like meeting, I don't know, John Cleese's son or something. You know what I mean?
Dad's in those videos.
It's like, your dad is so fucking funny. Like, I was just freaking out. And I was like, can I meet him? You know what I mean? So that was
Did you meet him?
I did meet him once, and I was very starstruck.
Yeah.
He was just like an ordinary dad. He was like, oh, hi.
Yeah.
Is Jim ready to leave? You know what I mean? And I was like, man, Mazeppa Papazoidi. And he's like, that was 25 years ago, son. I was like, man, that is the shit, dude.
What, did he just stay in Tulsa?
Yeah, he's just like a businessman in Tulsa. But like in the early 70s, he was buddies with Gaylord Sartain and Gary Busey, and they were just clearly stoned, just fucking around and just like making each other laugh. And it was so funny.
These were interstitial segments too?
Interstitial. So you'd be watching a horror movie and then it would just cut to them, and it was always some sort of school. It was like, Teddy Jack Eddy, Gary Busey was a character named Teddy Jack Eddy. Teddy Jack Eddy's school on like making airplane noises. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they would try to teach some guy.
Comedy.
Yeah, 70s sketch comedy.
Right.
And it was so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
It's great. Some of them are on YouTube. Check them out.
And Busey, he is funny.
He is funny. And those things, you're kind of like, oh, I get it. I so get it.
But Tulsa, you've got a pair of boots. Did we talk about that? Do you have some cowboy boots?
I have no cowboy boots.
You did at one time?
No.
Never
had
How'd you
cowboy
avoid
boots.
that in Tulsa? Seriously.
I don't know. My dad's from Chicago, and he's like, you're not wearing boots.
That's why. You do have sort of a Chicago accent, right?
A little bit, maybe. I don't know. I don't have the Oklahoma thing. Everyone's always surprised when they hear I'm from Oklahoma.
Well, my parents are from Jersey, and I grew up in New Mexico, and I don't know if there is a regional. Do you know what is Oklahoma?
Just that, what I was kind of doing, like, hey man, how you doing?
Oh, it's like that.
Yeah, or
not quite Texas.
Yeah, I was kind of just, hey, it's got a draw to it.
Yeah,
you know.
But Tulsa's like, Oklahoma. What do I know about Oklahoma? I think of rodeo.
Yeah, or Roberts University. A lot of like a lot of the televangelists you see, that a lot of that was in Tulsa.
Well, that's where Kennison's family was, a crew of televangelists.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew he was a preacher. He does that whole bit in his stand-up where he does that.
Yeah, where he preaches.
Yeah, he
could do
awesome.
it. He knew how to do it.
Yeah, it was great.
But you didn't grow up with that either.
No, not at all.
No religion? No. Not the heavy Jesus?
Not the heavy Jesus.
Light Jesus?
We had light Jesus. Yeah. It was like my mom, like Easter morning, being like, we got to go to church or they'll run us out. Yeah.
They were both from Chicago?
No, yeah. My mom is from Tulsa. She grew up in Tulsa.
Is that why your dad went to?
Yeah.
Ah.
He went down to Tulsa. No, they met in college.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And she was from Tulsa?
Yeah.
And they started a family?
Yeah.
And they wanted grandparents nearby?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's me.
Yeah. And you got brothers and sisters?
Two sisters.
Two sisters?
Yeah.
Younger?
Younger. Two younger sisters.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, what does that make them now? How old? How old are you?
I'm 35.
Oh, so
they're 34 and 31.
Everyone gets along?
Yeah. Everybody gets along great.
Are they in show business?
No.
Are they in Tulsa?
One's in Tulsa. The other one is in New Mexico.
Really?
I don't know where in New Mexico.
That's where I'm from.
I haven't been there. She just moved.
See, I feel like that. Like I think Oklahoma touches New Mexico at the top, doesn't it?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, a little bit. Doesn't the end of the Panhandle?
Yeah,
kind of kiss up
against
against
neighbors.
Yeah, there's like that Four Corners area where you can sort of put one limb in Oklahoma, one in
New Mexico. To be honest, Santa Fe is like where a lot of friends would go. Like Colorado. You go to Santa Fe, you go to Albuquerque, you go see concerts. Sometimes people drive that far.
How long of a drive to Tulsa?
It's like forever. It's like 15 hours. But I knew friends were like, we're going to go to Albuquerque, man. And I'm like, why?
Those are the worst ideas.
The worst ideas
you'd
ever.
sort of get half high on the drive, and then you'd be fucked up from the drive, and then by the time you got to the concert, you're just strung out from the road.
Yeah, no, it's
and then
terrible.
you get a hotel room at a Hotel 6. And like 4 of you sleep in the fucking hotel room. It's a disaster.
And they're like, whose idea was this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 3 hours into the drive.
Yeah,
like there's all
stinks.
that momentum, like, here we go. And then like 9 hours in, like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
How far? We used to do that to Denver. We go to Mile High Stadium. From Albuquerque. That was only 10 hours, but we did that twice.
And were you stoked doing it, or was it?
Well, it was
worth
okay.
it?
One time we went in 2 cars, and I remember I'd stolen a bunch of food from the deli I worked at, and we ended up like having food fights in between the cars on the highway, and then, it was always
living the dream.
Yeah, man. But okay, so you end up in Tulsa. When did the outside of Zeppa, what is it?
Mazeppa Papazoide.
Mazeppa Papazoide.
And that's such a 70s name too.
I don't know what it is. Mazeppa Papazoide. They thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. We'll call it Mazeppa Papazoide, man.
Oh shit, man. But when did you get the bug, man? When did you, like, were you in high school doing musicals or?
No, that's funny. Just imagining me doing a musical. I did a little bit of acting in high school, mostly because I was dating a girl who was doing acting, but I didn't really think about it that much.
What was the plan?
I really liked filmmaking. I was more of a film buff, and I wanted to be a filmmaker, a writer and filmmaker. And so I went to, I had terrible grades in high school, and I couldn't really get into any good film school, so I ended up going to a community college in Scottsdale, Arizona.
2-year program?
Yeah, and I stayed for a year, and then my buddies were like, fuck this, let's just move to LA. So I moved to LA in 99, and then I started,
really?
Yeah, and then I was a PA for a really long time.
You were one of those guys?
Yeah, I was like the PA, can I get you coffee?
Yeah. How do I get in?
Yeah, how do I get in? Yeah.
What did your dad do that he let you do this shit?
He runs an air freight company.
Oh.
But my dad actually, when I was really young, I don't even remember it really, but it's true. He did stand up for a little bit. My dad he still to this day loves stand up comedy.
Really?
Obsessed with stand up comedy. Listen on the serious. I just went and saw these OKC basketball games with him, and we drove up to Tulsa, and the whole way we were listening to Serious Route. Yeah, just the whole time, and he's like, oh, you gotta listen to this guy. This guy's great. Yeah. You know, he loves stand up. He loves stand up. So he
did open mics or?
Yeah, and then I think he went down to Houston, where there was like a scene,
sure, that was
in the early
Hicks,
80s, and Hicks and all those things.
What was his name? Pineapple and Jimmy, was it Jimmy Pineapple? I can't, oh shit. Steve Epstein, Riley Barber.
There was that whole Houston scene that he would kind of go down and do stand up, but he had like 3 kids and
at the workshop,
no money,
I think it was called.
And he just was like, nah, fuck this. And he started driving a truck
But he was doing it. Like he did
it for a little bit. Yeah. He was excited. And I think that.
You see any tape on him or?
No, to this day I'm like, Dad,
gotta have one.
You gotta give me some of your jokes.
Did he have one? You gotta have a tape. There's gotta be a Betamax or a VHS
something, someplace.
No, I never showed it to you.
No. I know he did I can't remember any of his jokes. I know he had like cocaine humor. I remember that. It was very early 80s.
Yeah, sure.
But he did, but he was so me getting on Saturday Night Live blew his mind. I mean, he was so
must
excited.
Have been the greatest thing in the world.
It was the greatest thing in the world. He came to a show where I got to say live from New York, and he was like totally crying, straight up crying. And it's so crazy because you do it, and it's such a quick. We got to go over here, and I look up real quick, and I see my dad crying, and I can't even like process it.
You can't have the emotion.
I can't have the moment. Yeah. I'm like, stop. Yeah. I gotta dress up like, some other guy. My dad was just blown away. He's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. It's like, we've been watching that show since 75. I saw the first one. He's a big comedy fan. Yeah.
Oh, did you walk him around the studio?
Yeah. I introduced him to Lorne. And introduced him to he saw Don Pardo doing the thing in the booth, and he was like, that's fucking Don Pardo. Like, he was going crazy. He freaked out. He was really kind of shy around Jim Downey. I introduced him to Jim Downey, and Jim Downey's then, really gregarious and stuff. And
well, he's been the writer there since like day one almost.
Yeah, he came in with Bill Murray.
Uh-huh.
And my dad was very nice, and then he walked away. My dad's like, the Bank of Change, like that's the guy, you know what I mean? You know, it's like, yeah, Jim Downey, he's been around forever, you know. Oh, so he's a big.
That's cute, man.
Yeah, he's a big. He loves.
What's your mom? Was your mom like, okay?
She's like, all right, yeah, we're fine. Yeah, everything's okay.
I'm happy he's making a living.
Yes, I'm very happy. Yes, yeah, this is good.
Yeah,
I'm glad. Because I was so bad and like. I was bad in school, but everybody thought I was on drugs and drinking and stuff, but I wasn't. And it wasn't like I had a moral thing against it. I was just, I don't know. I think I figured out my senior year of high school, I'm just interested in one thing. Yeah. And I can't concentrate. I don't give a shit about chemistry or anything like that. But I had like the cool English teacher. Yeah. Say, hater, you don't smoke the doobage? Yeah. That's what he said in a parking lot once, and I was like, fuck you, fuck this place. I was more just like
right. You were just sort of detached from it all.
I smoked cigarettes and drank coffee and kind of like just sat around and had like a
You don't smoke the doobage.
You don't smoke the doobage. I was like, get away from me.
Well, the cool English teacher, that can go either way. Either they're kind of creepy or they change your life.
Exactly. Yeah. He was more of like the Donald Sutherland, I want to fuck your girlfriend kind of English teacher. From Animal House. Yeah, he was more of that guy.
Yeah. So, okay, so you do a year at community college studying what, though?
Filmmaking. Oh, okay. And I made some films. I met some buddies there, and then we all just moved to LA, and we were all PAing. I PA'd on... I was a production assistant on like really low budget, shitty movies. One of the first jobs I had actually was driving around Marty Cove. He was best known as the evil sensei from Karate Kid, the guy who says sweep the leg. Yeah. I drove him around and he,
this is Hollywood, man.
This is Hollywood. So I'm driving around in my shitty car. Yeah. And he got me lost on purpose because he didn't know he hadn't read the script yet. Yeah. So he was like, nah, you don't take this. Take Havenhurst. We get on the 454. And I have like a Thomas guide on my lap. And I go, I think I'm supposed to go here, you know. And then he got me lost. And the first AD, my boss screamed at me. And it was this terrible day. And then on the way back, he goes, we're driving. It's like at night. We're driving down the freeway. And he goes, hey, Billy, you mad at me? I go, no, I'm not. And he goes, you want a milkshake? I go, what are you talking about? Milkshake? You want a cookie? You want a milkshake? And I'm like, it's the guy from Karate Kid. And I go, no. It was like my first Hollywood experience. Yeah. So he goes, there's a McDonald's right up here. Pull over. We'll get you a cookie. We'll get you a milkshake. Everything will be all right. And I go, oh, okay. So I pull over to McDonald's. He goes, what kind of milkshake you want? I go, chocolate. Yeah. And he goes, all right, chocolate milkshake. I'll get you a chocolate chip cookie. I'll be right back. I'm so sorry. Yeah. He leaves. He comes back out, eating the chocolate chip cookie and drinking the milkshake. Right. And then he just sits in the back and he goes, come on, let's go. No. It was the biggest fuck you. I was like, whoa. It was a weird mind fuck of like, I'm going to get you this thing, and then he ate it in front of me. And I just drove home in silence.
Really?
And I was like, that was my first, like, welcome to Hollywood kid, like, moment.
My God.
And I came home to all my roommates and I was like, you won't fucking believe what just happened to me. And they all were like dying laughing.
Did you have to go back the next day and do
that? I drove him to work every day. And I didn't talk to him after that. I just kind of like stayed like straight ahead.
Whatever happened to that guy?
I don't know, but I will say that I heard he was going through some sort of emotion. He was going through like a divorce or something was happening with him. So he might be a really nice guy, but I just, for some reason, I rubbed him the wrong way, and I don't know what was going on.
What was he teaching you? Like just that some of us are.
Don't listen to me. Don't. Why'd you listen to me? You should just keep driving.
But like it's like it was just sort of one of those things where it's like, this is how show business works.
Yeah, I don't know, or it was just, I want to fuck with this kid. I'm having a bad day.
And you were like 20?
I was 20, yeah, and I just was like, my God.
And what other sets were you on?
I was on a movie called Two Little Heroes, which is like Home Alone with two dogs. It was all done by these Russians, and we drove around like these Russians. We didn't speak English. They didn't speak English. We couldn't speak Russian, but me and my friend were the only two like real English people. And and they wanted to make this film with this Home Alone, but with dog. And so we did that movie for like a month. And then, I was this Playboy show called Night Calls. Yeah. It was like a call-in phone sex show. I was like a stage manager there for like a week.
So you were in that loop of PAs, like everyone. You had a little community, like of people that would tell you because I remember trying to do that. You have to be in sort of like this circuit of people.
Yeah, and the guy would go, "Hey, I got a job. You want to do this for 2 days?"
Right, it was like $100 a day or something.
$100 a day.
Yeah.
And then the best thing is like then I got a job on this movie called Collateral Damage with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah,
and
I
that was
that.
like a big movie, and so that I got to work for 6 months. And
that was your break, and that was
my
a lot of
break
money.
in that. Yeah.
So what were you doing? Like, were you writing? Were you making movies?
I was writing,
trying stand up or anything.
It was a big lesson. I was writing, but I got so kind of wrapped into making money and being on movie sets and kind of stars in my eyes a little bit of like, look at this, I'm hanging out with Arnold Schwarzenegger and all these things. I did the Spider-Man movie and all these other things, and I was doing nothing creative. And then I went to Second City Theater after doing this for like 5 years. PAing. I was an assistant editor. I was a runner. I drove film elements around.
That's weird because that can really happen. You forget why you're out here, and then I
fully did that. I 100%. And I also admit I was scared. I was really scared of fucking up and failing. I had a hard time. I was so confident in high school and school and everything, and then when it was like I have to pay the bills.
You wanted to pay the bills.
I just that was my whole goal, was to pay the bills. But
well,
I
also
think secretly I was a little freaked out.
Right, but you keep getting this work and you become a go-to guy in those, because the people that are hiring you to do that over and over again, they don't give a fuck about your dream.
They don't care.
Yeah. And I imagine at some point, you even though you're on film sets and everything else, there's still like, well, how do I get from where I am to where the lights
exactly.
are? Like,
exactly.
There's this idea that like, well, I'm in.
No, you're not
There's
in.
nothing, there's no in.
No, there's never an in. Even when you're in, you're not in.
No, right.
You know what I mean? You still have to bust your ass and work and kind of like, that's what I figured out.
Right, so what was the moment where you're like, I have to...
I went to a buddy's show, that, Derek Waters.
Yeah.
And Simon Helberg, who's on, Big Bang Theory, and then my friend...
Oh, yeah, I was going to talk to him soon.
He's a great guy. Really great guy. And
you guys were buddies, and he was trying.
No, I didn't know them. I just went with my friend, and we went and saw this Second City show. And
it wasn't your friend's show. You just went.
No, we just went with these people, and I was like, oh, these people my age doing sketch comedy at Second City on Melrose.
Right.
And then I went to another friend's Level 5 show there, and so then I asked him, my buddy Eric Filipkowski, I said, how do I get in on this? And he said, oh, you just sign up here. And so I signed up. That was like 2003.
Yeah.
And so I signed up for classes. And just started taking classes
at Second City. And the best thing that taught me was to fuck up, just to get up in front of people and fuck up. Yeah, get over the fear.
To get over the fear. Yeah,
right.
I had a lot of fear going into it of being like, you just get into a place where you're too cool, or your friend, you start criticizing movies and TV and books, and you're just, but then you do it and you go, oh, this shit is hard.
Right.
So cut these things some slack, you know what I mean? And so it's hard, and it's not like an easy thing.
Well, that's a big shift from like a lifetime of being an armchair critic.
Exactly.
Bitter for no reason.
Exactly.
Yeah, fuck that. I'm not gonna. That guy's. This is hack, or that sucks, or this guy doesn't know how to make movies, and what are you doing? No, I gotta be on set tomorrow.
I gotta get that guy coffee tomorrow.
Yeah. It's a big, but some people live their whole life like that. It's like there's a tragic hierarchy in Hollywood.
Yeah.
You can talk about the show business hierarchy, but there's a dark one that mirrors it.
Exactly.
Of people who aren't in show business that goes all the way
They're
up.
on this weird periphery. And it was just a thing about being someone who does stuff.
And what were some of the, like, you were just doing sketches and learning how to improvise?
Improvising. And then this guy, Matt Offerman, who's Nick Offerman's brother.
Yeah.
Eric Filipkowski and the guy Mel Cowan, the four of us started a sketch group, and we had a sketch group, and we were doing shows like in a backyard in Van Nuys. We had no space. We didn't know anybody who would like a space or anything.
And Offerman, he wasn't a star yet.
But Nick would let us rehearse at his
workshop.
His workshop.
Yeah.
So we go to.
He had that then.
He had that then. This is 2004. So we go to his workshop and rehearse.
And was he sanding things?
He was just sanding like a boat in the background. But he was very nice. And then Megan Mullally, his wife, saw me in one of those shows and recommended me to Lorne Michaels. It was that fast.
Really?
And it was like I was just the luckiest, craziest break in the
And
world.
she was already a Broadway star.
She did Will and Grace.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. Exactly.
And she had hosted the show. She just hosted the show, and they just happened to. They needed, Jimmy Fallon had left. Tina and that whole crew were kind of on their way out, and Lorne needed some new blood, and so she said, "You're really funny," and I said, "Oh, thank you," and that was it. And then I got a phone call. I was working as an assistant editor on Iron Chef America, and I got a phone call from Lindsay Shookus, who's in the talent department, now runs the talent department. And she said, Lorne Michaels would like to meet you. Holy shit!
And you're like, you're watching them cut,
Bobby Flay. Making some ragu thing, and I'm like, yeah, I can be up there. I can get up to New York. And so we went, and Lorne met me, and I had a really nice meeting with him. And he said, "Do you know why you're here?" I said, "Yeah, Megan Mullally." And he goes, "I was on a boat once, and there was a guy on the boat being funny the way he was being funny in the way that Bill Murray is funny." And I thought to myself, I know Bill Murray.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was the whole meeting. I'm not exaggerating. That was the whole meeting. I flew all the way up to New York. He said, "You know why you're here?" And he told me that story, and it was like, "Get out." And then I left, and I told Mike Shoemaker, "Hey, this is what happened." And he goes, "Oh, you should stick around for a couple of days." Like, "Oh, that's good."
That's the beginning of a conversation.
That's the beginning of a conversation. That was great.
Yeah.
And then I stuck around, and then Lorne came to L.A. and saw our show
with the sketch group.
With the sketch group, and he knew that the house was packed with all of our friends because, like,
you knew he was coming.
We knew he was coming, and the first Howard Kramer opened for us, and then we went out and we did a thing, and the first thing I said, everyone went crazy, and it was like, and I think Lorne was like, these are all his buddies.
Yeah.
So Lorne said, "Screw this, you guys have to come to New York." So he flew us all.
Wait. So he saw the show.
He saw the show and he liked it.
Yeah.
But he said, "You guys have to come."
He said that to you.
To New York. You guys have to come to New York.
All four of you.
Do the show in New York for a New York audience, where no one knows.
You can't fill it. Yeah.
And so we went in, and I look out, now cut to New York, UCB Theater on 26th Street. I look out the
original UCB with the weird seats.
Yeah, down where it's underground and they have the weird,
Oh, no, that's a new one. Right. Okay.
With all the pillars and
the real low ceilings. Yeah.
And so we went in and I look back, and there's like Amy Poehler, Tina Fey, Seth Meyers, like everyone just on a writing night. It was during a show week going, "Oh, we have to go see this guy's show." And I felt terrible. And so we went out for the first thing.
And Lorne was there too?
Lorne was there. Oh yeah, Lorne was there. Marcy Klein, Mike Shoemaker, and then a bunch of New York comedy people or improvisers going, who the fuck are these guys from LA?
Yeah. This is our night. This is our place. Yeah.
Yeah. Bobby Moynihan was in the audience. I didn't know him then, but Bobby was there. He said, he's like, a lot of people want to know who these LA guys are. But they didn't know which guy it was. So then I came out.
So they brought all four of you out to look at you.
Yeah.
And you knew that, or they all knew that?
We all knew it. And those guys, to this day, like, my last show, I called all of them and thanked them all because I was like, they knew that it was just for me, but they were like, "Yeah, they're going to look at Bill. We got to go do the show out there."
Where are those guys now?
Mel works at UCB, and Matt, I think, moved to Illinois. He got married and had kids.
Uh-huh.
And then Eric is in like every commercial now. Anytime I see a commercial,
Eric
Filipkowski.
Okay.
Yeah, he's great.
Right, so you do the show and it goes well?
It goes really, we do our first thing, not getting laughs, and then I did, Vinny Vedecci, which I later am doing on the show, and Amy Poehler laughed, and it just calmed the whole room down because Amy started laughing, and I was like, "Oh, thank you." Amy, and I don't know if, to this day, I don't think she thought what I did was funny. I think she was just like, "God, let's help these guys out. This is terrible." You know what I mean?
It was that quiet after the first
No. It was like the first tense.
Yeah,
it was tense. The whole situation was
yeah.
tense, and so she's like, "I'm going to laugh just to calm everybody down."
Right.
And, it was, I've never spoken to her about it, but to this day, I've been like, "Thank you so much." You know? And we did a great show, and everyone laughed, and it was legitimate. And then Naomi Odenkirk is my manager. I went up to her afterwards, and she goes, "I think you're going to get the show because you won the room over, And then I had to do an actual audition.
So Naomi's still your manager?
Yeah.
That's sweet. And yeah, I've known her for years. She's Bob's wife, and I'm glad. So, all right. So, how'd you hook up with her, though? She signed you off of the sketch troupe here?
Yeah. A woman who worked for her, Mandy Kahn, was my friend. I was a PA on a sketch, on a short that Bob did with Fred Armisen.
Yeah.
And Mandy was the other PA. And then I just called her and I said, I'm going to go meet Lorne Michaels. And she went, oh, well, come in and talk to Naomi. And maybe Naomi can help you with this. Because I had no manager, no agent or anything. And
you were still just a PA on an Odenkirk
I was, yeah.
And Fred was, and you didn't know Fred.
I picked Fred up from the airport, and he didn't know me, yeah.
Does he remember it?
Yeah. I picked him up from the airport. And I go, I was the PA that picked you up from the airport. That was the first thing I said to him when I got SNL, and he was like, oh. And I learned real quick, oh, yeah, don't tell people you were the PA
who picked him.
Yeah. He went, oh, okay, that's weird.
Kid.
Hi. Hey, kiddo.
Yeah.
So they...
So you do the show.
We do the show, and it goes great.
And Naomi tells you he wants to meet you at the office or whatever.
He wants to... all right, we do that, and then he says, I want to see you, I want you to do a real audition. Like the official SNL audition.
In the studio on the camera.
In the studio on camera.
Yeah.
And I went up, and I did that audition.
What'd you do?
I did Vinny Vedecci, and it's basically just ripping off Sid Caesar. It's all Italian gibberish. It is. It's just like... people, and I did it on the show a couple of times, and then, so I did that on my audition, and then I, in that, did, just a bunch of impressions.
But in that audition, it's you in a box studio, and you know that people are watching. It was Lauren sitting in the office with, the audience with Marcy, or what?
Lauren's sitting at a table with, like, Marcy, Tina Fey, Andrew Steele, I think, was there.
Right.
And, you know, they tell you walk in and they go, you're going first. What was the first thing? And I went, oh, okay. You know, and go on in the dressing room working on my audition.
Was there other people waiting?
Oh, yeah. No. No, I got there first. Here's the thing. I got there first, and there was another guy in the elevator with me with a ton of props.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at him going, I didn't bring any props. This guy has so many props.
Yeah.
That was Andy Samberg. That was the first time I met Andy Samberg. And Andy later told me, he was looking at me going, shit, that guy doesn't need props. He's like, God, I brought all these props. I'm such an asshole. He might have a different take on the story, but that's what I remember.
Yeah.
And then we left, I go in, and they say, you're going first, and Andy, you're going second. Oh, shit. And so then I'm waiting. I go in, waiting, hour goes by, waiting, and then I look out, and there's a ton of people auditioning. They're all waiting to audition, and the auditions have started. I go, oh, they've started already? And they go, yeah, we're on guy 3. You know, we're on the third person. I was like, well, they told me I was first.
Yeah.
Nah, you're going to have to wait.
What? So the mind fuck began.
Immediately the mind fuck began. And I was just like, oh, Jesus. And so, and then I auditioned.
How long did you wait?
I waited, and then a buddy of mine auditioned, a really funny guy named Andrew Friedman, who's at the Groundlings. He auditioned. And I went out just to kind of like hear his audition, because we kind of helped each other with our auditions.
Yeah.
Auditions. And then he came out, and then Chris Kelly, I now know him, he's a stage manager at SNL, grabbed me and goes, and he's in his mic, and he goes, no, I got Bill Hader. No, I got him right here. Okay, you go right now. Come on, let's go. And I was like, oh shit.
And there's no way to gauge how it's getting a reaction, because there's nobody in there but them at the table.
Just them, and it's quiet. But like the Amy thing, I was doing in the middle, and everyone was coming back, going, no one's laughing, it's just quiet.
Right.
Not laughing.
Giving you the heads up. Not a warm room.
Not a warm room. It was very quiet.
Yeah.
And then you go in, you slate yourself. You're right on the mark where the host does the monologue.
Right.
And you slate yourself to camera, and then they said, all right, let's go. And so I started my audition, and the minute I went into the Vinny Vedecci voice, Tina Fey started laughing. And it's great. I've watched for the first time, Naomi Odenkirk has my audition on DVD, and I watch it, and you see it on my face. She starts laughing, and I just like get so calm, and I'm like, boom! I'm like so happy. And then my audition was good. Bob Odenkirk helped me on my audition. He was really helpful. He's like, make it short, like tight.
How many characters?
It was like 5, 6 maybe.
Which other ones did you do?
It was all impressions. Peter Falk, James Mason, and that morning they asked for a political thing we want a political impression, but it can't be George Bush.
Right.
So I went on television and watched Tony Blair.
Yeah.
And then called my friend from the UK. I go, all right, who's this? And I did it. And he's like, that's supposed to be Tony Blair. And I was like, shit. All right, hold on. It was really tense.
And you called him back and said, how about now?
How about now? And he goes, all right. It'll pass. And I was like, okay, now I have to write something for us. So I wrote some dumb Tony Blair thing. And then I just went and did it. And then I felt really good about it. And then 2 weeks later, I got the job.
But that was a rough 2 weeks, or no?
No, yeah. I mean, just from that, I got, meetings to get now it was like, you're an actor now. Like Naomi's like, I'm representing you. We're going to talk to agencies, what agency you could go to and things like that. And then, I was at, the Newsroom Cafe on Robertson.
Yep.
And went to the bathroom. I was having lunch with Naomi. I went to the bathroom, came back, and she had her cell phone, and she just handed it to me. And I was like, hello? And it was Marcy Klein saying, hey, congratulations, you got cast. You need to be out here tomorrow. And I was like, okay.
And that began it.
And that began it, yeah.
And you were like, how long did it take before you got stuff on and in? And
Oh, Stefan was like 6 years. I did not come out of the gate. I had a really good first show where I did Al Pacino, and Andy and I went on Update.
Yeah.
And I had a great first show.
Yeah.
But then it was very much, the digital shorts happened.
Yeah.
And Kristen Wiig happened. And I was very lucky with the class I came in with, Andy, Kristen, and Sudeikis, and those people. And I just I felt like I went from kindergarten to Harvard, you know what I mean? I didn't know what I was really doing.
Right.
I for the first 4 years, I was like, they're going to come up to me and say, we made a giant mistake. You got to go home.
Well, what was it? What was the feeling of anxiety? I mean, you weren't just a performer they expect you to generate, right?
Yeah. And I was never someone that could just self-generate. I always needed to work with a writer. And I did that for the most part. The turning point for me was, I had a good first show, and then it slowly kind of declined. And then towards the end of my first season, I mean, I wasn't really doing much anything.
Yeah.
And it's,
What does that mean, though? You're just sitting around, or like...
you put in things, you're like the second cop coming through the door, as I think Bill Murray would always say it,
Yeah.
But those are good. You need to do those parts.
Yeah. Right.
Now I'm happy I did all those things.
Right.
Or you're like a Starbucks customer. And or whatever. And I would do that and was just trying to learn. I was trying to learn how to write sketch comedy. I was trying to learn how to write comedy, period.
Right.
I didn't know how to write jokes.
Right,
you know what I mean? I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Like, everything I did was like more attitude,
right.
And voices.
Were you a fan of Bill Murray?
I did like Bill Murray a lot. Yeah, I love Bill Murray.
Yeah. Did you ever get to meet him?
I did meet him.
You just met him at SNL or what?
No, Jim Downey called me and was like, I'm watching a baseball game at this bar. You should come over. And I went over, and Bill Murray was there. And it was me and him and Bill Murray. And then I texted Sudeikis, like, get over to this bar right now. I'm sitting here with Bill Murray. So Jason kind of just dropped by, like, hey, what's going on, guys? And then we sat and talked to Bill Murray, and I told him, I'm like the kind of second cop through the door thing. And he was like, yeah, I was the same way, man. You just got to get with the writers. It's hard. You know what I mean? He was actually really nice.
And when was the big breakthrough?
Probably the big thing, actually, mentally, was I did a show and I did a sketch, and I felt like I didn't do a great job, and I just was getting I was really in my head and not knowing what I was doing.
Right.
And I told Bob Odenkirk about it, and he said, go in and talk to Lorne. He said, don't be afraid of him. Just go in and talk to him. Everyone's afraid of him. Like, he goes, I was afraid of him. Like, just go talk to him.
Yeah.
And so I went in and just told Lorne, like, I don't know what you want from me. Like, what should I do? I'm like the new guy, but I was like really freaking out a little bit. Like, what do you want me to do? And he said, I just do what you're doing, And, but that kind of, I think after that, it was like if we saw each other in the hallway, he would go, hey, Bill, you know what I mean? Like, he was like, okay, this guy wants to work with me and work with the show and is trying to figure it out. And I think that was a big turning point. And then doing the Vinny Vedecci show for the first time with Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah.
I remember when I did that at the table, like, some writers clapped in a way of like, oh, this guy really needs this. Because I was trying a lot of stuff out of the table that was just falling on his face and bombing horribly.
Yeah.
I just couldn't figure it out. And once that happened, I felt a little bit better. And then I kind of sat back and looked. I go, this is where a cast is at. Here's what everybody's doing. It's like the A-team. Where do I fit in?
Right.
So I was like, okay, every week I'm just going to bring in an impression piece because I'm kind of known as the impression person.
Right.
So I'll just do impersonations and I'll do that. And then what I learned was I would do a sketch that would bomb, but then a writer would say, hey, that Alan Alda impression you did or that John Malkovich thing or whatever, I want to use it in my thing. Oh, good. We now know you can do that.
Oh, good. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so it was a little bit like learning, and then over time I got a little bit better. And then my 4th season, at an after party, Lorne pulled me aside and said, you know you can work here as long as you want. Like, chill the fuck out. You are so uptight. Will you please calm down? You got the job.
Yeah.
Go have fun. Will you start having fun, please?
So you're the uptight guy. Yeah.
Oh, totally. I get very nervous. I have major, stage, fright or whatever.
But in front of people or all the time? Like on movie sets as well?
Not on movie sets, just in front of the
live audience?
Live television audience.
Right.
It gets really nerve-wracking. So that's what worked when I did Stefan for the first time, because I got to just do that nervousness. You get to play the nervousness.
Yeah.
In a way that was really helpful.
And that character is hugely popular.
Yeah, but that didn't come till way, way later. I had to.
You did 8 seasons?
8 seasons, yeah. And I think Stefan, we did it for the first time at the end of my 5th season.
Wow.
Yeah.
So long learning curve. But I think it's interesting at 4 years when he finally just sort of went in and talked to Lorne, because I from what I gather, he's a guy that you could sort of, project any of your fears onto.
Yeah.
That, you just wander around in the shadow of this man who everyone's afraid to talk to, making assumptions, without sort of what you just said, realizing it's like he's just trying to make the show.
He's trying to make the show work. He's like, I gotta make this person.
He's not worrying about Bill.
Yeah.
He's not like, how Bill's happy. It's very easy to think that. It's like, all he's doing is sitting around thinking like, why did I hire that guy?
Exactly. And what it was is just like, relax.
Yeah, trying to, we got a lot of things going on.
Yeah,
here.
we have an election. I don't give a fuck about you. Will you just do something funny and have fun, please? And it is, and you get, what I learned about Lorne is that he really is just a huge comedy fan.
Yeah.
One of the most telling moments I had with him was, there was a show I think Tina Fey hosted, and Steve Martin came on and did a bit in it, and I had a moment with Lorne and Steve Martin, and we started talking about comedy albums.
Yeah.
And Lorne lit up in a way that I hadn't seen, where I was like, oh yeah, you just love this shit. He loves.
What was he talking about?
Early Lenny Bruce, before he got political.
Right.
And he and Steve Martin doing the whole album, doing bits from the album. And I still have it, they had a napkin there writing down the albums I needed to go get. And some of them were like the Nichols and May one, which I had, and Tom Lehrer, which I never got.
It's music.
Yeah. Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
They just talked about Richard Pryor a lot.
Yeah.
Just how good Richard Pryor was.
Yeah.
And Steve Martin said, yeah, he's like, Richard Pryor was, he's like, yeah, that guy was.
Did they give a reason?
He was the best.
Yeah.
They just talked about his joke and how he was just different and what he brought to it.
Yeah, so much vulnerability to the thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you kind of, and what Steve Martin was doing and what Richard Pryor was doing, and how it was just interesting hearing him talk about him.
Yeah.
But that night, it was when I was like, oh yeah, you were just a big fan guy.
It.
And they were quoting Monty Python. Oh, Beyond the Fringe, that was a big one.
Oh, really?
Talking about Beyond the Fringe album and how great that was.
It's amazing to see these guys as people or as fans.
Yeah, and just watching them as fans made me go, oh, okay,
they're
I
just
get it now.
Guys who like this.
They just love this, and he just decided
just billionaires having a nice time.
Yeah, they're throwing money at each other. No, but hearing Lorne, and I go, oh yeah, you just love this, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna just make the show about it.
Well, it's pretty fascinating that now he sort of owns. He's got the Tonight Show. It's a fascinating thing with that guy to me. He just kind of hangs out and he does this thing, and it's like, okay, I have the Tonight Show.
Oh, the Tonight Show. It's show business. He loves show business.
Yeah, and did you read that Late Shift thing, that late night, the Battle for Late Night?
No, the Bill Carter book?
Yeah, about, not the Late Shift, but about the Conan.
Oh, no, I haven't.
Tonight Show thing. About that whole, it's pretty fascinating because he's like a real part of it.
Oh, really?
Lorne is. Lorne comes off as this Buddha.
Yeah.
In there.
Yeah.
And there's this story he tells about, about meeting an executive at GE. You know, when he was thinking about leaving or when he did leave.
Oh, and like
briefly,
really,
yeah.
80s. Yeah.
And the executive is like, you know, the network will always be here. Mm-hmm. You guys come and go, but the network, you know, whatever. We're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And it had resonated with him. Where he never quite realized that because you get sort of caught up with this sort of like, we're doing a thing.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, another guy will do a thing.
Yeah.
And it seemed to really, it seemed to really kind of like show him the world in a different way. Like,
yeah.
Oh my God, I'm not. It's just, that's the universe.
And you feel like Lorne, with you as a young person, he really does like to help you with that. Like he really legitimately cares about your career and the choices you're making, even after you leave the show, you know.
Right.
He kind of wants to, you know, make sure that you're doing.
Did he do that with you? Did he?
A little bit, yeah.
What have you got planned?
What are you doing? Why am I seeing you in T-Mobile commercials?
Oh, did he say that?
In a funny way, yeah. But it was like,
why?
Those?
I saw you and I said the same thing.
Yeah, I liked them. I was like, I thought these would be funny.
Yeah, there's no shame in it, but it's sort of like, it's interesting about commercials where
it has a stigma thing. I called a couple of buddies before I did it.
Yeah.
I said, should I do these? I don't know. It could be funny, and it's like good money, and I do it, and one friend said, I don't know if, like, with this generation of selling out is a thing.
Well, no, that's true. As long as you can represent yourself.
Yeah. Because I don't know if it's a thing. It doesn't have that stigma of, like, when, you know, for us, doing a commercial is like, ugh.
But I guess the thought is sort of like, people would think like, well, Bill Hader's past that.
Exactly, yeah. I don't know. I decided, I don't know. I don't put a lot of thought into this, and then I was like, oh, I'll just go do it. Yeah. And then I did that. I was like, oh, everything's fine. And then I did the Reddit Ask Me Anything thing on Reddit. Yeah,
sure. Good times.
And it was a lot of like, why am I seeing you these stupid fucking commercials? And I was like, all right. Fair, buddy.
Yeah,
it's totally fair, buddy. I get
Lesson
it.
learned.
No, yeah, I get it, buddy. No, but I like them. I think they're fun.
So you have 2 kids?
Yeah.
And you're all out here?
Yeah.
Did you get yourself a house?
Yeah. We're in a house.
You bought one?
We rented one.
Where?
On the west side of town.
Okay.
And so we're looking to buy, but anywhere else.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
Like
and we'll probably stay in the west side.
Oh,
We'd like to, but we're looking to buy in other places.
Yeah.
When you have kids, it's all about schools and
and room.
Like and room.
And you bought yourself a Camry. I'm very impressed. Drove up in a Camry.
Yeah.
It was a new black Camry, but it was a Camry.
Sensible.
Yeah, Camry hybrid, which I respect a great deal. No limo for Bill Hader.
Yeah.
No car where you got out and looked nervous. It's going to be all right here.
Yeah.
It's going to be...
where are we?
But I don't, like, I can't get... You seem like a practical person. I can't get into... Like, I don't know how to spend money.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't like to.
Yeah.
And with cars, it's like, it's going to get fucked up.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Anytime I see someone in a really nice car, I get into a friend's car that's like crazy nice. I do. It is.
Yeah,
I'm like, I would be freaked out the whole time. I'm like, you're going to ding this up. We're driving in like, everyone wants to kill us. That's what I think. Everyone wants to carjack us right now.
Yeah, most people spend this on a house. And
exactly. I was like, we can't drive anywhere.
Yeah.
I was like, this is terrible.
So what's, so you've been here 3 weeks. What has the entry into LA been? What have there been meetings? Have you been?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, my wife did a movie with Aubrey Plaza called The To-Do List. So we were promoting that a lot. And then.
Who's your wife?
Maggie Carey.
Okay. So you're both actors.
No, she wrote and directed a movie.
Oh, that's better.
Yeah, she wrote and directed the movie.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I was concerned for a minute. I should have done a little more research, but...
No, I'm fine. No, this is good.
So maybe she'll fit you into something.
Yeah, maybe. Hopefully she'll write me into another movie. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
I would love that. Yeah.
And what you've been doing what? You're going to go on... What are you going to do? What are you going to do here?
Come on. I don't know. We'll find out.
Well, you got a movie coming up, or what's going on?
No, maybe. Oh, Kristen Wiig and I did a movie called The Skeleton Twins. It's a drama.
Yeah.
That was good.
A drama?
Yeah. It was fun. That was a good...
When's that come out?
I think, well, hopefully they're trying to get into festivals right now, but it's Kristen Wiig, the Duplass brothers produced it, and this guy Craig Johnson wrote and directed it. Me and Kristen, Ty Burrell, Luke Wilson. It's a great cast. Little like the To-Do List, my wife's movie is like $1 million movie.
Right.
And but it was really fulfilling just to do this thing, you know. It was cool, you know, Kristen calling me going, hey, so you're doing this? Like, this is different. Like, this is we play twins, estranged twins.
Yeah.
I'm her gay twin brother.
Yeah.
And I moved back in with her. It's in our hometown. And it's good. It's a very I'm hearing it's good. We're going to see it in a couple of weeks.
Do you find that is it easier to do straight?
I liked it. I really enjoyed doing it just because it was different. It was kind of a mind fuck because you would do these straight scenes, like you're saying, these dramatic scenes.
Yeah.
And then I did it during the SNL season, so I would do that, and then you go, and Martin Short was hosting the show, and you would go and then have to do sketch comedy with Martin Short. So it was a very getting your head around it a little bit.
Well, yeah, and you got to go way up to do
Martin Short is
the
funniest human being on the planet.
Yeah.
Just being with him, I'm like, okay, you're like finite comedy, everything he says, and he's the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah.
Such a sweet dude. But,
when you do straight acting, because when you do a voice or you do a thing for broad comedy or just a comedy type, how do you approach the straight acting? Do you do a voice? Are you conscious of that?
Nah, yeah. It's really just working with a director and saying, is this too much? Is this
right?
What do you want? You know?
Yeah.
And kind of saying, he was saying, yeah, your character, the character I play is gay, but that's not.
You don't have
what's
to play
all
gay.
To him. You're not playing gay, And so it was that. It was very nice to work with him on the character. I've never done that before. And going through the script and kind of the opposite of the advice I was giving you before. It's a version of know your lines and kind of know what the emotion is.
Right.
But then intuitively, I'm going to sound pompous as shit, but the two of you kind of losing yourself in it a little bit.
Yeah, well, it's hard. No matter who I talk to about acting, it does ultimately come down to intuition. Intuition
and completely, just again, going back to the thing of not caring about making an idiot out of yourself.
Right.
And fucking up.
Right.
And knowing everybody fucks up and goes too far. And, I would do takes in the movie and kind of look at the director and go, what do you think? I could tell he was like, yeah, that was a little much, but, but you're trying, just trying shit. But I'm realizing a good director creates that space of yeah, try that. And let's dial it back a little bit. But that was a good idea, or let's go this way, and so it's just collaborating with people. And Kristen Wiig is so great in the movie and so good to collaborate with and is really there with you.
And you have a chemistry preceding this.
So that was nice playing brother and sister. We've known each other for 8 years and worked with each other, a lot. So it was really great.
That goes a long way, having a dynamic with somebody already.
Oh man, I can't tell you. You just felt very secure.
Right.
Going, well, I'm going to do this crazy thing, and her being there, I don't know if I would go to another, you never know. But it was fun having those conversations where I love doing comedy, but it's just a different conversation.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for talking to me, man.
Thanks for having me.
And now I'm going to set you loose to drive to the west side at rush hour.
Motherfucker.
I know, man. Just going to take that new car out. You're going to really get to know that new car. You can sit there in the air conditioner and say things like, this is a good choice, a hybrid.
Oh.
You'll find that's the only thing that you're not going to like about Los Angeles is what you're going to have to go through when you leave my house.
Okay, good.
Traffic.
Great.
Everything else is pretty good.
I like everything else so far, but that's what everyone tells me.
It's weird. It seems hackneyed, but it gets to a point you're like, why? Why is it like this all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you guys going?
Yeah. What? Shouldn't people be home already?
Yeah. What are all you doing right now?
Yeah. That'll have variations.
Yeah.
Involving cuss words and different levels of anger.
Yeah. Well, at least I'm by myself and I don't have the kids in the car. Then it makes it way worse. They
no reason
bonkers.
to ruin childhoods.
Yeah.
Over a traffic jam.
Exactly.
All right. Thanks, man.
Thanks, buddy.
That's our show. Isn't he a fucking nice guy? He is, right? God damn, man. Had a nice time with that fella. I would like to have him over more often, just to hang out and talk with that guy. I don't know how you watch television, but I know I'm doing it wrong, because apparently the best way to watch your favorite shows whenever you want, wherever you want, is on Hulu Plus. And WTF listeners can get a great deal on Hulu Plus right now. Get started watching every season of SNL or start from the beginning with Arrested Development. A lot of options there. Hulu Plus is only $7.99 per month when you go to Hulu Plus/WTF. And right now, get an extended free trial of Hulu Plus that's only available to podcast listeners. That's HuluPlus.com/WTF for your extended free trial. Go to WTFpod.com for all your WTF pod needs. And here's something that, I don't know if you know this, I don't know how long you've been listening to the show, but do you have the WTF app? It's the fastest, easiest way to get every episode of WTF. The WTF app is free for all your mobile devices. You'll get the newest episode as soon as it's ready to download, and the most recent 50 episodes are always on there. And if you want to upgrade to the premium app, you get access to every single episode of WTF. That's 400 plus episodes. Go to WTFpod.com and click on the WTF app link, or go to your preferred app store and get the WTF app. Also at WTFpod.com, there's some new merch, there's shit, there's stuff. Oh, that reminds me, I got to get those posters from Chicago. Guy up there does these great posters. Put them up there. Leave a comment. Do what you got to do. Okay? Can you do that? I'm going on vacation, man. Kinda. Maybe I will never come back. That'd be hilarious. I'm not going far. I'm probably already back by the time you're listening to this. Boomer lives!